So I hope everybody's well. What I wanted to do today was to talk about triggers and why we react the way we do when we're triggered by somebody, and if there's anything we can do to learn to cope or to learn from why we're being triggered. When we're triggered, it tends to be something very, very uncomfortable. It's not something that we want to experience, and our conditioned response tends to be that we want to get away from the situation. This past week or so, what I've found is I've triggered a few people, and I myself have been triggered as well. And it's an uncomfortable feeling. And our conditioned responses, like I said, are to just literally want to walk away from this as quickly as possible. We're hurt, and sometimes it's embarrassing as well. And what we want to do is we just want to forget the episode as quickly as possible. It's uncomfortable. And yet in that uncomfortableness, there lies an opportunity. And it's an opportunity really to delve deeper into who we truly are, to inquire as to why we are feeling the way that we're feeling. What we may find then is that we find ways of coping with that trigger, or we become aware of a conditioned pattern that was there that we didn't know was there. And what that can do is we can then look to slowly but surely let that go. Like I said, this week I've been triggering people, and I've been triggered as well, and it's been a huge learning, because I found that yes, there's certain things that I'm doing that maybe I don't need to do. There are certain people in my life that shouldn't really be there. And it's allowed me to really clear out on a lot of things, to the point where I find myself going deeper. There was a beautiful post by a good friend who said, he's recently battled a disease, and it's like the disease killed him, and yet he feels more like himself than he ever has. And what we find is that the more we start looking at these uncomfortable emotions and these uncomfortable triggers, and when people say something really nasty to us and we're not, we weren't expecting that, or, we feel quite embarrassed by it and we're quite hurt by it. If we can become aware of our conditioned response, which is to, I need to get away from here, there's this pain, and instead we go into the pain, there's, pain. As Rumi stated, the wound is where the light enters. If we can go into that wound, if we can go into that pain, as uncomfortable as it is, we may find that we discover something about ourselves. As I said, I found myself moving away from some people this week because I'm thinking to myself, well, you're not really here for me. This isn't serving me. This isn't in my best, in my best interest. So a few of the triggers have led me to really reevaluate my relationships with certain people. With others, I've asked myself as to why I'm actually feeling like this. What's making me react like this? And it's deepened this inquiry into who I actually am, and made me realize that maybe there are a few things that I need to change. Maybe I shouldn't react a certain way. But invariably what you find is it always offers us an opportunity to go deeper into who we are and to really see who we actually are. And triggers, by their very nature, when we're triggered by someone, it's something that there's no kind of initial defense to, because it's something that always kind of tends to come out of the blue. And it can have a devastating effect upon us. I remember many, many years ago, I was at school, and I was called out by a teacher, and I didn't see it coming. He had a big smile on his face. He asked me if I was happy. And when I said I was, he proceeded to shout at me. And that completely and utterly destroyed my relationship with that particular subject that he was teaching. And for years, I battled with that particular subject, and wondering why I didn't like it. And then one day I realized it was literally that incident. And triggers can be that powerful. They can really, they can really take our life down a different path altogether. I have another friend of mine, I remember many, many years ago, when, again, he ran a successful driving instructor business. And he had a part-time job. He'd gone into work. He'd had this huge smile on his face, and somebody had literally said, "Who the fuck are you to be happy?" And it had literally just deflated him, like just shattered him. And what I saw was over time he lost enthusiasm for so many things. So I think when we have these moments happen to us, I think it's a time for us to really go into some reflection as to why we're allowing this kind of behavior to happen to us. And that basically means some real honest inquiry to ourselves, and also to see whether certain people really need to be in our lives, if they are really there for us as friends. And what I've found, like I said, over this week is, and this is something that's been happening over the last couple of months with me as well. I've been systematically, in certain cases, and sometimes just life has been getting rid of people which I feel are no longer really there in my best interest. And I found that my work has changed. I found that there's a lot more calm and peace in my life. And I was one of those guys who really loved his drama, and now I'm realizing that even that isn't something I really want in my life anymore, and that I just want to just have a normal life, so to speak. And that has also brought up a lot of triggers as well. That's also brought up a lot of fear as well, and it's something that I've had to sit with and inquire with, and sometimes really turn into some really uncomfortable emotions and keep letting them go. And like I said, this week I've been triggered. I've triggered people as well, and I've realized that when we are triggered by people, when they push our buttons, they offer us a huge opportunity to really deepen in our inquiry as to who we truly are, as opposed to our normal reaction, which is we need to get away from this as quickly as possible. So when we're in that space of conflict, rather than using knee-jerk reaction or conditioned responses of fight or flight, what we may look to do is ask ourselves, what is this trying to teach me? What is actually happening here, and how does this serve my highest good? And we may find that we'll uncover previously hidden programs that are there. I had a thought. I was thinking about the Indian speaker Jay Krishnamurti, and I thought how wonderful it would be to be in a world where there was no conditioning. But then I also realized it's highly impractical, because some of our conditioning does support us. It's almost fantastical. But with inquiry, with this self-inquiry that we're constantly doing with ourselves, we can constantly allow patterns to come up and leave. And sometimes life will throw these people in our path who will trigger us or push our buttons. And instead of reciprocating that, maybe, and kind of getting caught in that pattern, maybe we can take a step back and go, okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable now. Why am I feeling uncomfortable, and what is this trying to show me? So I hope that's kind of shed some light on this whole idea of triggers. I seem to be going down the route now where I seem to be going into different topics in it, and no doubt if I need to expand on these, I will be expanding on these in videos or in talks as well. If you're enjoying these videos, please do subscribe to the channel. I am planning to try and do some meetings on here, but we've got to get to a certain subscriber base as well. If you like this video, please do hit the like button as well. It always helps with visibility as well. And if you have any ideas of any videos that you want me to do, or any topics, and like I said, I've got a list, and I promise I will work through that list. What I'll do, I'll add that to the list, and we'll talk about that particular topic, because I feel now it's really about, previous videos have been quite expansive, and now what I'd like to do is kind of go into specific topics. Although what I'm seeing is I'm not really delving as deep as I could, but again, I'm a firm believer in not trying to force something or push the process. And so I'm really just enjoying what's going on. So yes, if you have any video ideas, please do contact me. And what I'll do is I'll add that to the list, and no doubt it's something that will also be discussed in meetings as well. So if you're interested in coming along to a meeting, please do check out my events page on my website. The link is below. And I just look forward to hearing your feedback, and thank you so much for watching the video.